Hello and welcome back to Bookish, and welcome back to my Saturday Hodgepodge, my weekly wrap-up of my reading and anything else I want to talk about. I am sporting my Come and Take It shirt from Mothers Against Greg Abbott, which shows a guy laying down and reading. And it's kind of a play off the Come and Take It shirt you see associated so much with the Second Amendment. In this one as the First Amendment, because it's suggesting, daring someone to come and take our books. I'll leave a link to Mothers Against Greg Abbott down below if you are interested in getting a t-shirt, but I thought I'd wear that today because it did finally come in. I thought I'd start off today by just doing a real quick wrap-up of what I have been reading. So I'm involved in a buddy read with Margaret Pinard of a biography of the landscape architect Frederick Law Olmsted, probably most famous for designing and helping to create Central Park in New York City. It's called A Clearing in the Distance, Frederick Law Olmsted, An America in the 19th Century by Witold Rybczynski. Buddy reading this with Margaret is great. I'm a historian. Margaret writes historical fiction and is just an amazing researcher, and she's read Rybczynski, some other Rybczynski books before. So getting her insights on this has been great. I am enjoying the reading. I will say I enjoyed the first part a little bit more than I enjoyed our second 100 pages. I'm not as interested in the business of landscape architecture, and there was a little bit more of that here, but Olmsted did visit Texas during this section, and he said some mean things about East Texas, where I'm from, and then he ended up going to and spending some time in some of the German communities in the hill country of Texas, around New Braunfels and Fredericksburg and places like that. And so that was really interesting, and this has just been a great read and a great experience, so that's all been good. I also, April was my month where I said I was going to read short books in April, so the shortest book I own is Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan, and so I read this yesterday, and it's just beautiful. The writing's beautiful, the story is powerful and moving. I just thought I'd read you the opening lines just to give you some idea of what the writing is like. So this would be the opening paragraph. In October, there were yellow trees. Then the clocks went back the hour, and the long November winds came in and blew and stripped the trees bare. In the town of New Ross, chimneys threw out smoke, which fell away and drifted off in hairy, drawn-out strings before dispersing along the quays, and soon the river Barrow, dark as stout, swelled up with rain. It's like that all the way through. The story is simple and beautiful, and it's only about 114 pages, so it's definitely a novella, but I really enjoyed reading that yesterday. It really kind of helped get me out of a reading slump, which I briefly entered this week, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then I also picked up another book I plan to read this month, and that's The Hill of Reply by Tarjei Vessas, who is a Norwegian writer. And this was his last book. I've never read anything else by him, but I saw this recommended by Celia, who recommended me the John Foss books, and I also saw that Mark Nash had reviewed the book, and I read the first story. I guess I'll call them stories. And I thought it was really powerful and in its own way moving and beautiful and emotionally effective. So I did start reading that yesterday as well. The thing that kind of put me into a bit of a reading funk, I guess, maybe not a slump, was the Book 2 prize, and I hate to keep making it sound like the Book 2 prize is this horrible ordeal, but I haven't had a lot of luck this year. So this round I'm judging translated fiction, and I was really hoping that this would be a big change and would, provide me with a lot of really great reading experiences, because I've been a little unhappy, or a little disappointed, I should say, with the nonfiction group I got. And the first book I got, which I won't tell you because I keep these things a secret. And by the way, the reason why I don't even want to tell you the group I've got is I just don't want any outside influence. If I told you the group, I'm afraid that somebody in the comments would say, hey, I read this book and I liked it, or something like that. And I just don't want that influence. That may seem silly, but that's why I don't tell you. Anyway, the first book I got kind of violated my read short books in April. It was a little over 300 pages, and I just didn't like it. I'm going to do, I think I'm going to try to do a vlog, a Book 2 prize vlog this time, so immediately after this I might shoot a video in which I discuss why I didn't like the book. But it was a slog for me. It was not a book that I returned to eagerly or enthusiastically. It was a book I had to keep making myself pick up for the purpose of kind of just getting through it. And having said that, I will say that I don't think it's a bad book. I just don't think it's a book that I was ever going to like. And some things about the way in which it was organized and written really just kind of made those things worse. But like I said, when I put out my BookTube prize video, I'll go into more depth about why I didn't like it. But that really sent me into a bit of a reading funk or slump. I broke out of it thanks to Claire Keegan and The Hill's Reply here by Tarjei Vessas. And so I picked up my second BookTube prize book, which I'm reading on my Kindle. And I read about 50 pages of that this morning, and it's much better. It's much more interesting to me. A much richer reading experience. So I'm glad that I found a BookTube prize book that I like much more, and so that's been going pretty well. As you know, you may know, I have gone back to work after being retired for about a year and a half. I've gone back to work on a very part-time basis, where I'm tutoring. I'm a reading tutor at a middle school in a neighboring town and community, and this week. My hours got increased a little bit, and I'm meeting with a whole lot more students, and I had a really good week this week. And the reason I think why I had such a good week this week is because I got to be a part of reading novels, and we're reading, classic, middle school age novels. A Bridge of Terabithia and The Giver are what's being read, and what's been great for me is that the kids I'm reading these books with, and we're going through these books with, have an enthusiasm for those books. That those books are working and making them want to read and making them curious. And what I've been doing before, and still do to a certain extent, is reading passages that are in a packet for the purpose of helping them figure out how to read something critically so you can answer questions about it. And those things are a lot less exciting, and the kids don't have a lot of enjoyment for those. But I've never read The Bridge of Terabithia all the way through, or The Giver, so I'll get to do that along with the students in my group. And that's been just a tremendous amount of fun. Anyway, there you go. That's about all I have for this Saturday Hodgepodge. Look forward to your comments in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching.